So Mr. Nishal sir did undergraduate studies in mechanical engineering from Anna University. Sir did postgraduate studies in manufacturing system engineering from Coventry University, UK. Sir has a teaching experience about around 9 years. Sir has published 10 international journals and 6 book chapters in the area of supply chain management, circular economy, additive manufacturing, and Industry 4.0. Sir filed a patent on prosthetic arm and also granted recently from intellectual property rights, and also the patent also has been granted for on biodegradable plastics. So because of IIC SPC Steeple Mudu, we welcome you, sir, to deliver the lecture on this topic. Welcome, sir. Now I'll hand over the session to Nishal, sir.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I hope my PPT is visible to everyone. Right then. So is my voice is audible? Anyone? Is my voice is audible, guys? Fine then. I hope my PPT is visible to everyone. So this is a session on achieving problem solution fit. So you would have seen a product market fit, which is mostly talks about the market. So this one is about finding a problem within the an industry or any industries or MSME, whichever service sector or even a product manufacturing sector, and how to achieve that. So in order to do that, like we need to know the basics of it. So in this way, problem solution fit is when founders have discovered a deep customer problem in an underdeserved market. When we look into this first statement, like we could state like many of issues were can come into mind. Like in 2011, if you see, Toyota Prius had the problem like a back rear lights were switching on all the time because of the brake pads have been stuck in the floor mats and all. So this was one of a problem which was found out by the Toyota, and the solution fit for that was like they recalled all those cars and they gave the problem was resolved through some technical aspect. So if you see in this current year, 2023, if we see Maruti, everyone knows about the Maruti Suzuki cars. Like one of the cars in Espresso had a defect. The defect was within the steering wheel console. So it was a deep customer problems in an undeserved market, like because the market was quite booming for them. So in that particular market, it was a key problem, and right now it is currently going on. They have recalled all those cars to have a replacement of their steering system, additional retrofit, so that they wouldn't have that set of a problem. So this is a real case problem where you can see how the problem was and how the solution they have fitted so that it is feasible for both the parties, like the company as well as the customer. So to have a broad scope of that, so that is called like a problem solution fit. So the problem solution fit takes shape slowly from a blurry gassy form. That is because the problem wouldn't have been taken place at all. So when more number of complaints have been coming, it comes into a fluid form and eventually it becomes a solid form, which is more tangible. That is, for example, when one or two people is going to come and state that there is going to be an issue in our steering system, people would have not taken into into a major consideration. But when more number of fluids in different showrooms, the number of people, one or two, are popping in and saying the same issues, means it becomes the next stage. Usually the company starts to initiate that particular problem and starts to find a solution. But at the end, when they are about to release that solution, it becomes a tangible in a solid form, so that even in the tangible session, the numbers aren't too high, so that they will be able to assess those things. So that was one of the case studies, because I want to share that with respect to that case studies. If we see these, what do you mean by problem solution fit? It is easy to understand. So it's about validating a great product that solves genuine problems, right? So how a product is going to solve some critical problems. So this is basically an outline of problem solution fit. So there are two primary goals when assessing problem solution fit. So validate that a problem needs solving by multiple prospective customers, and validate how well the solution you have developed solves the problem. So these two comes in the way of whether the problem needs to be solved because it has given by a customer or not. That we have to understand whether it is required or not. Because every suggestion, every problems which the customer is facing from a product cannot be solved, need not be have to be solved, and we have to look into it how well the solution we have developed will be solving that particular problem. Because uh, we cannot just blindly state that in current scenario everyone states that we have to go do an automation. So we have to, that is one of the key thing right now. If you take up any big companies and all, they will be working on this particular one, whether the customer is asking for an automation, whether that need is there or not, whether the problem should be addressed, not whether it is a problem or not. Then bringing up a solution whether it is sustainable and feasible for both the customers as well as the um, companies. So that is what we are going to see. So that is a major concern which we have to look into right now. Right. So I think it came out. Okay. So when a person who is going to look into such kind of a things as a entrepreneurial problem solving skills has to be taken care. It states as entrepreneurial, but it's actually a problem solving skills. Basically, if you go to a pop into any companies or any new set of a job, they'll be looking for problem solving skills. First thing is like always, obviously, it is a critical thinking. Critical thinking is like majorly looking into an exact specific of the problem. It's not like a blindly giving a broad scope of the problem. It is like thinking to the specific of the problem. So that is critical thinking. Then how well we evaluate those details. So critical thinking evaluation is quite important, because those two will give an exact idea what is actually is happening, what is the exact problem. When we look into those things, those are the 60%. The rest 40% will be our solution, right? So critical thinking evaluation details are quite important. Then followed by communication, whether how well I'm communicating the exact findings which I've got through evaluation. So then ability to act on solutions. So obviously to a problem there are more number of solutions will be there. It's not that it is going to have one single of solution. There is no such thing as one single solution. It's not a given statement of a problem. So different solutions are going to be present by different peoples, because one particular person cannot find the exact solution for all those things. So as an entrepreneur skill, we have to know how to solve it and how to act on the solutions which is proposed by others also in your team. So when you're looking into that set of perspectives, what happens is choosing the right solution is a key important thing. So that is more needed. Then comes your decisiveness, how well you make a decision out of it. Ability to analyze data. So from this part, if you see, ability to analyze the data is like after your decision making and your implementation, there has to be an analysis of data, whether the set or the identified problem or critical area for improvement has been completed or not, because it needs to, the loop has to be closed, right? So we have to analyze the data so that we'll get a proper outcome of it. So business and industry awareness is like whether this particular tech is needed or not. So when I'm going to analyze something, whether this is required or not, because all these things will be in the set of a prototype or in a prototype testing or in the testing phase in a process. So that is needed. So we need to be in a key awareness whether the industry is needed or not. The business industry awareness has to be present for us. Then comes your resourcefulness. Resourcefulness is like ability to uh, create the solution in hand and analyze those data with whatever resources available within the system itself. So that is one of the key things about your problem solving skills. It is nothing is going to be like we are not going to build some rockets over there. We are going to solve some certain critical problems critical. It doesn't put a uh, do not put too much load on that. It's critical means it is like finding the right fit at that right time so that the solution is made. So whenever we are thinking for solution fits, there always the parallel action could be the lean. So lean concept is one of the key things. So we'll see a few bit of lean. So after this, we'll be seeing that. So if you see this particular graph, which is given by the product Dave, the one of the important thing is like what I've seen in the morning is like product market fit, which is present over here, which is after the initiation in the market during after 24 months to 36 months where you dwell in the major market. That is where your product market fit is going to be placed. So but what the thing is like we are talking is the problem solution fit, which is at the very initial stage itself. If we are not going to address this particular phase, this particular phase is going to travel along the same path, and during the time it becomes as a product market fit also. It applicable only for certain products. It is not for every set of a product. This method will not be there, because if you are being a startup, the problem or solution fit is not addressed, we will not be able to move to the market itself in the initial beginning. So always we have to look for this problem solution fit. For this problem solution fit, if it is occurring, we have to look more carefully and use certain case studies like how to analyze it. So for this particular one, what we can say is DMAC. DMAC is like one of a industrial graded tool where it will give us a major aspect how well our system is being defined, how to analyze the system, how my methodology is working. Every set of aspect can be analyzed with the help of DMAC, or we can use even a VSM tool, value stream mapping. So all those things has to be initially needed. So in order when you identify such kind of a problems, I need to use such kind of a tools. Okay, for example, FMEA I can use failure mode effective analysis, which is can be used for a product or a design. Or else I can use a WG method also. But the thing what all the industrial entrepreneurs will state is, if these problems occurs, I use these tools. But in order to avoid these all these things, everyone's question will be how to avoid these things. So from our literature, we have to know how to avoid these things. Use the lean concepts. So lean is something which is already being placed. So if you see this graph, it is done by the scaling lean. So lean will state that when to apply which set of a tool so that I avoid these set of a problem so that my product is a fit in the market or my solution is properly fit. So this is one of the important thing what we have to know. So where the problem solution fit is going to occur when you start up a company, or when my product or market fit is going to occur. So we cannot interchange these two and start working on towards that. It's like wasting our own time. So the hierarchy of the pain is like first the thing is like if you have found a problem as a problem to your product or your process at the very initial level, then it is like stating that okay, we can able to address a problem at the very early stage. Level 2 is like you are being aware of having a problem through someone else. So the level 3 has been actively looking for a solution, but it has not been uh, the solution has not been presented still yet is the other problematic thing, which has a hacky in-term solution. In-term solution is mostly tried to be avoidable because it's a timely solution or a timely solution. It is for a certain interval of gap or time which could be acquired so that you can find a proper fit of problem solutions. Else, it is going to be a hacky situation for us. All has or can acquire budget. So that this level 5 is what Maruti Suzuki is right now is doing, because they have found the problem, is aware of having the problem, but they have taken a more time to for looking the solution where the product has come into the market itself. But if they have found that in the beginning, they wouldn't have to acquire a bigger budget. So level 5 is like making a bigger budget. You have to change in the entire product where your existing new product will be kept in your warehouse, which is a tangible asset, which is going to be sitting there for a longer period of time. Because unless until there is a use for that particular resource, it is a cost which is going to be liable to us. So the 5 levels of pain will state that when and where, how to use it. So when I use lean concept, at the level one itself, we will be able to identify the problem and solve it at the very earliest stage. So this is the hierarchy of pain which we have to look into it very carefully. So Canva is like many people would have stated, like you would have been using for developing your magazines or even a newsletter or some flyers or some local invitations and all. But actually, it also provides a problem solution with Canva. So it's a tool that transforms into a problem to solution by taking into account the customer's behavior and the surrounding context, which consists of four pillars over here. So customer state fit, problem behavior fit, communication channel fit, and solution guess. So if you talk about what is customer state fit, is like you need to know how the customer is going to behave. So if your customer behavior is not read well, definitely there is going to be a problem solution fit which you need to be addressed. Because without their behavior understanding, you cannot bring in a product into the market just like that. So problem behavior fit is like how the problem is going to behave on its own. So in a product, if there is any misconceptions or if there is any error within a system itself, it behaves on its own. So that particular behavior has to be found out. So whenever if you take Amazon or any other bigger level comes or a Daimler or a Benz, what they do is they take the initial customer's behavior and what is their requirement, they put it into the system. Then when the system is coming out, they do a prototype of it. They see what are the defects over there, how it behaves on its own when it starts to work. Because they are not going to just like that address it, they're going to study that. So how it's going to be behaving on its own, so how to address that particular problem. Then how to communicate that particular one so that the communication is given back to the early stage of the design team so that it can make the necessary changes. Then they are finding a proper solution guess. So once a problem has been communicated, every part of that particular team is going to sit around and they're going to bring up a probably better solutions to the table. But the thing is, which one you have to guess, how to guess them. So which one is a proper fit to us? So that particular analysis has to be done. So here is an example how your problem solution fit canvas are being used these days. So if you see the first one, so it defines the CS fit into the CL. So the customer segments, how it fits into the customer limitations. So what are the available solutions for that? So if you look out on the next one, the focus is on the PR. So tap into the B and understand the RC. Like what is a B is like nothing but like your problems and pains. So what is the root cause for that and how it is going to behave. So that is focusing on your public relationship. So the next thing is like for your triggers to act and what is your solution for that, how your channels of behaviors is going to come out. So if I come from, but the problem is like you're gonna start from 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're gonna go in that particular manner. But if you see the horizontal one, it is defined in a way where these segments is gonna fit in. So which set of teams has to work on those things and all. So problem relations, what are the problems? What is my root cause? Because as a customer, if that you get in any problems or any set of a brain, what is its frequency? I have to analyze what is the frequency of the problem. So when I do that, I should be in a position to give my what is the root cause of the problem and how it is going to behave and what is my intensity. I have to understand. If I'm not able to do that, I will be never able to react and how the solution cannot be presented properly. So the channels of behaviors also has to be taken into account on that. So problem solution fit is not something like I come into the office, I found a problem, I'm solving it. It's a regular continuous improvement process, which is going to be also a part of FMEA. So FMEA is like nothing but like a failure mode effective analysis. Either it could be applied for DFMEA, that is a design failure mode effective analysis, or a product failure mode effective analysis. Both the segments we can do them, right? So here are a few examples. So Airbnb solved the problem of finding an affordable accommodation by connecting people who need a place to stay with those who have an extra room. So how this was like the problem solution fit was Initially, no people will be ready to occupy in someone else's houses and all, but they made that into an affordable one in a much more effective manner. So that is like one of a problem solution fit they have done that. If you, everyone would have been used Uber. So Uber solved the problem of getting a cab by creating an on-demand ride-sharing platform that connects the drivers with the riders directly. So they are the ones who initially done that. So these things were done uh, like nearly a decade back. These are the best examples which you can find it online also for a problem solution. So even Google have solved the problem of finding relevant information on the internet by creating a search engine that uses algorithm to rank websites based on the relevance to the user's query. Everyone knows that Google came back like a way back, but even Google faces until now also they face real-time problems which is being solved with the latest techniques of leans and all. So these are the examples which we have to look into it. Then everyone is like using Spotify right now. So Spotify solve the music artist problem of getting their music heard, that is without the piracy, by creating a streaming platform that makes it easy for the people to discover and listen to new music. At the same time, it has solved the music's listener problem of having to buy entire album and they only wanted to listen to one or two songs. This is like consumption of internet. That is like when I use Spotify, I'm going to consume some internet. So for that, I have to pay some amount. So to any Airtel or Vodafone or whatever the service provider is. In that perspective, when my consumption of internet is high, the Spotify is getting paid because of that, and Spotify is going to pay the music albums also on the backside. So what happens is when I use Spotify, there's going to be some ads coming in, some consumption of data is going to be because they have to do it in that manner so that it benefits both the parties. So Facebook is made it possible for the people to connect with each other on a social platform. So everyone knows that this is no, one of the oldest platforms where everyone uses this. So problem solution for the market fit is only achieved when the revenue model, prices, and acquisition effort match the needs of the customer. See, whenever a company is going to produce a product, it is not blindly producing a product. It is because it would have taken the customer's perspective from behind. What are the things they need? What do they require? So based on that, they create a new product. And not blindly. If you have gone to any supermarkets or anything, they would have given you a slip or some
The
service.
slide is, excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
Vishal, sir. Sir, slide is moving. Ah, yes, sir. Now it's moving. Okay, sir.
My bad, sir.
Yes,
So yeah. So whenever we are looking into any service, we usually fill our name, our gender, our age, and sometimes what kind of salary package we get, in what segment we fall under, and from which area, and do we own it. So we would have sought like for this particular survey, what are these details are needed on it, because these are the best set parameters. So based on this parameters, what they'll do is they'll generate a model so that this is the price tag which could be best suitable for the future. That is they predict, they forecast for 2 to 3 years, this could be the best product so that the market could be acquired. And what is the best acquisition? What is the best requirement by the customer? So how many of the customers have filled them? Because they might be interested in that particular product, so that they create from that segment whatever product you have. They try to match that up, so that the problem solution to the market is exactly fit for the future products. So it is necessary to validate the hypothesis through, as we said, interviews, surveys, test with prototypes, and among others. So test with prototypes is whenever you go to again a supermarket, outside there will be a stall where you can see they'll give free chips or free soups and also that you can try and taste the product. So you'll be giving your comments. It is not good. It is too much salt. It is really not that good at all. If you go to Chennai Trade Center, they have more products in out so that you can sit and see what kind of a sofa a people is going to like, what kind of a model they like. So even by test drive, so that people can come and see whether which product they like. So we are into that particular model. So the current generation, what they are looking for. So this is how they are going to look into it. So problem or opportunity or solution. This is problem solution fit. So after that only the market and business model is going to come. So these two things are the major thing for what we are looking at right now. So what is the single condition for a business? So the single condition of a business is nothing but like the single necessary and sufficient condition is like a paying customer. You need a paying customer, right? So you have started a company. So what you look into it is like whether a customer is there to pay me for my product or not. So that is the first necessary thing. So someone is going to pay you money for your product or your service. So you have a business on that day only. It's not the day before or the day after. So on that day, someone is there to pay you money for your product or service. That is the condition for your business. So, but the problem is you need to have a paying customer in a routine manner. That is, on a base intervals, you need to have a customer on a daily basis. You cannot have the repeated same customer. You need to have customers. So that will state as it is a sustainable business. A best case example is like our OET has some shops out there, right? So those particular shops, if there is customers today and there is no customer tomorrow, then it's not a sustainable business. If there is a regular set of customers every day, there is going to be 50 people of customers, but they're not the same customers, but a different customers, but the number is being steady, then it means that it's a sustainable business. That is what we have to look into it. So in order to have a sustainable business, you need to have enough customers paying enough. So every day, one day, 1,000 people are going to come, and the next day, only a few hundreds are going to come. Then it's not a sustainable one. Even if few hundreds are coming, but the consistency is same for every day, means now that's a sustainable business, right? So that is what we are looking into. So if I look into these aspects and following that, we have to see the roots of lean startup, because without looking the roots of lean startup, we cannot complete the problem solution fit, right? So because lean is like something Toyota production systems have been followed, but what does lean state is problem solution fit states that I need to know the customer. The lean manufacturing states the same thing, know your customer, because lean states that put your customer first, then eliminate your waste, shrink the batch size, just-in-time production, acceleration of your cycle times. So know your customer is a key important aspect. So lean by probably the best suit for problem solution. So eliminate waste is whatever unnecessary process which is of non-value added has to be identified and try to be eliminated. We cannot state that word eliminated, but we can state that reduced down to zero. So because like you would have gone out, you can see companies stating that zero ppm and all. So that is like there is no incident or there is no wastage at all. Zero ppm wastage we have. That is what they state that, right? So shrinking the batch size. Batch size is like when you do a mass production, the batch is going to be much bigger, 100, 150, 200 and all. But the batch size has to be shrink down so that the quality of the product could be tested majority. So that is the important one, and the batch size has to be reduced. So just-in-time production is like whenever I start do a production or do a service or a product, the base thing is I need to have a raw material. That is, if in order to do some production or any other aspect, I'm gonna store my raw material in a warehouse for 6 months or period of time is unnecessary. Because right now TAFE is brought in a system for its tractor manufacturing. It is going to manufacture 100 tractors in a day. those 100 set of parts only will be available in the warehouse. So that in for that particular day, the set of products will come from the warehouse. It is manufactured and it has been taken on. It is stating that the tangible assets are my tangible money which is sitting idle in my warehouse, because every aspect of products is variable cost. So that is important to see just in time. So then comes your acceleration of cycle times. That is, cycle times means whenever you do a production or a process, you do a service, the amount of time taken for that period of work to be completed is called cycle time. So that cycle time has to be completed at a higher rate. So we obviously will look for some new set of technologies and all, so that we can effectively uh, maintain the order of our production system or effectively eliminate the waste. So acceleration of cycle time means bringing in new technology or unconventional process into the system. So that is where transition comes into play. So the important one is like even for environmental sustainability, majority of the cycle times can be reduced by bringing in some new technologies, but it will take more time to adapt. So adaptation, technological adaptation is not something easily done, and transferring of knowledge and transferring of technology is quite important one to any kind of an industry. It can be an academic, it can be an industry, automobile, biotech. It doesn't matter in that aspect. But technology transfer is one of key things which takes place in a system. So if you a good example is like everyone knows about e-vehicle, right? So e-vehicle, every e-vehicle set of vehicle is having a charger which is similar to every other, because the charger was a fast charging charger was produced by one set of a company which outsourced, or I can put it like this: technology transfer was done, so that every e-vehicle doesn't have to produce their own thing, so that it's a common system or a common product which can be used for all the companies. So it's like more like how our mobile charger was evolved. Because at the very starting, the chargers were entirely different from phone to phone. Then it was universal charger came into play. Now the C type is being that as a fast charger. So that is how technology transfer is being done. So for that, the acceleration of cycle time will lean over the technology transfer, so that our industry grows at a very high perspective. So, with that, the grim reality of the startup has to be seen. So, why they have been failed is like because few things, like one is idea. We have to know the whether the idea is a novel one or whether it's a good one or not. So, followed by that, we need to have a proper team and execution. When I say team and execution, as a entrepreneur, you cannot micromanage every aspect in your system. You have to take some leap of faith so that your team will make it happen. So how is your business model is going to be taken into account? Then comes our funding and our times. So business model, as you know, basically business models are out there which we can adopt easily. Funding is something like how IIC or EPIC is trying to help us, like creating incubation centers. Government is uh, developing more incubation centers, so that fundings for any startups is acquired much more easily than before. It's not handed out to your hand just like that, but the path is laid down. So, and you have to look for your timing when you're going to introduce your product to the system. So, how effectively it could be taken into the market, right? So, the reality is this. So, we have to look into that also. So, with this, I'll be closing my session. Before that, like we'll base diagram is given here. So, how a startup model is there. So, we know what is my idea, what is the code, what is the data. So, how I'm going to build it, measure, and learn. So, these are the basic aspects. But if you look into it, how do I build? So, it takes in more test, more deployment, scalability, as we seen just in time. Uh, all those things can be put into it. It's not doesn't state that every aspect has to be put in, but certainly few things. How do I measure those things? measurement of each aspect is important. So, what is my measurement methodology has to be defined over. Then learn from our mistakes. What is my root cause analysis state? What is the problem when I measure it? So from that we learn. Then uh, we will be tuning our idea more so that it goes as a continuous thing. So this is an important aspect for a lean startup, which is going to be helpful for a uh, problem solution phase. But lean has to be initiated at the very beginning so that I can avoid the problem solution fit also, right? So with this, the same things with this attached is the same thing, which is how a problem solution fit customers and problem market fit customers is difference is given away. So if you see the parameter interest, it shows high interest in the seed or pre-seed stage when finding the solution. So problem solution, what we are doing is like pre-stage. You see the market, it's after that. So targeting the customer, it will be very early evangelists are willing and eager to take a risk in using our products itself. But those customers should not be facing those problems also and have to bring in the solution faster. So product market fit customers are more risk averse, but still keen to try your product. They may or may not be the end users over here, because when I'm gonna define a problem and a market fit is given, also that the customer is likely uh, it's a 50-50 chance. So the validation is the phase is about validating the product idea with a few small sets of early evangelists, and this one is like validating the market and expanding your customers. So if you look for the value versus the price, the focus is solely on the building value. Pricing is utilized to learn about the customer needs, often not focus on the profit or this stage. Because it is a very early stage. Whenever you start a system, or it's a very early stage where you cannot state to look into any return or ROIs. So after a few years only, we have to see the real fruitfulness in any kind of an entrepreneur or startup. So we see the market fit is mostly of being a competitive price and how do I acquire my retention rate, how to get into the market, and how my referrals are going to be used. So customer development is focus on the customer by solving their deeply felt problems. This one focus on a larger set of customer problems with multiple product strategies. So this is entirely a new product. This one is like the existing product is being fit over here. So that is your entire thing about problem solution fit for your customers. So this is customer perspective, and this problem solution fit. What we have seen is only about our industrial fit also, right? So with us, I'll be closing my session. So if there is any queries, kindly put the queries in the chat box.